When I found out my husband, Daniel, was having an affair, I didn't scream, cry, or confront him immediately. I just stared at the message on his phone. "Can't wait for dinner tomorrow, Redheart," and something inside me went quiet. It wasn't surprise I felt, but a cold sort of understanding. He had been distant for months, coming home late, smelling like expensive perfume that wasn't mine. I had just been too hopeful to face it. That night, I lay beside him, listening to his slow, steady breathing, and made a decision. If he wanted to play games behind my back, I would make sure the final round was mine. The next day, I traced the restaurant reservation number he had written on a slip of paper in his jacket pocket. It was a quiet, romantic place downtown, known for its privacy. Perfect for secret dinners. I called the restaurant and, pretending to be him, confirmed the booking for 2 at 8 p.m. on Friday. Then I asked for a table right beside theirs, close enough to hear every word. The host politely agreed. I smiled as I ended the call. But I wasn't going alone. Through a little research and some social media sleuthing, I found the other woman, Clara. She was married too. Her husband, Mark, looked like a good man. Honest eyes, a proud smile in every picture with her and their 2 kids. My heart hurt for him. I debated whether to tell him everything, but in the end I did. He deserved to know what kind of betrayal he was living with. When I called Mark, he was silent for a long time. Then he said, "You're sure?" I told him everything. Dates, messages, even a photo of their chat. He sighed deeply and asked, "What do you plan to do?" I explained my idea, and after a long pause he said, "Count me in." Friday night arrived. I dressed simply. Nothing dramatic, just a dark blue dress and calm eyes that hid a storm. Mark met me outside the restaurant, looking equally composed. "Ready?" I asked. He nodded, though his jaw was tight. Together we walked in, and I asked the host to take us to our table. Daniel and Clara were already there. They looked like a perfect couple, laughing softly, holding hands across the table. My stomach twisted, but I kept my face neutral. Mark sat facing them, and I took the seat beside him. When Daniel finally noticed me, the color drained from his face. Clara froze, her fork midair. "Well," I said lightly, "fancy seeing you two here." The silence that followed was thick enough to cut. Daniel stammered, "Emma, what are you doing here?" I smiled sweetly. "Having dinner. With Clara's husband." I gestured toward Mark, who was staring at his wife with quiet fury. Clara whispered, "Mark, please, it's not what you think." But Mark leaned back in his chair. "Really? Because it looks exactly like what I think." The waiter arrived awkwardly, unsure whether to take orders or flee. Daniel muttered something about leaving, but I stopped him. "No, please. Finish your dinner. You went to such lengths to plan it." Every minute that passed stretched painfully. Daniel tried to speak to me, offering weak excuses about work stress and emotional confusion, but I'd heard enough lies before. I simply said, "You didn't lose me tonight, Daniel. You lost your dignity." Clara tried to reach for Mark's hand, but he pulled away, shaking his head. Eventually, Daniel stood up and stormed out. Clara followed him, nearly in tears. The other diners whispered, pretending not to stare. When they were gone, I finally exhaled. Mark and I sat quietly for a while. "I didn't think I'd actually go through with this," he said softly. "You were brave." I smiled faintly. "No, just tired of pretending." We finished our meal in calm silence, 2 strangers united by betrayal. When we stepped outside, the night air felt strangely fresh. Mark thanked me for telling him the truth. "You helped me see what I refused to see," he said. He nodded. "Now we both know where we stand." That night I didn't go home. I checked into a hotel instead. I needed time to breathe, to think about what life would look like without Daniel. It wasn't sadness that filled me, it was relief. I had been holding onto a ghost of the man I once loved, but the truth had set me free. The next morning, Daniel sent dozens of messages, begging to talk. I ignored them all. "You can't rebuild trust on ashes." A few weeks later I filed for divorce. He didn't fight it. Maybe he knew there was nothing left to save. Months passed, and I slowly rebuilt my peace. Sometimes life doesn't give closure, it gives clarity. And clarity is enough. The night I booked that table, I didn't just expose a lie. I reclaimed my power.